Hello, everybody, and welcome back. And what's the matter? What's the matter with Daddy's Dungeon? Is there something
That's
wrong with it?
disgusting. Stop talking.
As long as I don't get teleported into Daddy's dungeon, I think I'll be fine.
Stop
But
talking now.
So why don't we find out where it is that you get teleported to? Okay. So
that's a good question.
in the last hour, you guys were encountering you got into a bit of a tussle with the guard. Well, not the guard. My apologies. With the one of the witch hunters. You were able to successfully defeat him, bring him out into an alleyway, interrogate him a little bit, but then he triggered Bran. Bran being a source, and sources having triggers. This particular trigger happened to have created a portal somewhere nearby that had a gravitational well that was pulling you guys into it. Now, while you guys were getting pulled into the well, something came out of the portal as well. Something massive. And that started walking off through the city over towards where Bastion happens to be. So that's an interesting situation. And the two remaining, Leonard and Tal, went over to meet up with the witch hunters to see if they can get them to go fight the creature. Well, maybe they snuck away. We'll figure that out. In the meanwhile, Bran, you were clawing on for dear life, trying to get into not to get sucked into the portal. Then that fucker grabbed onto your leg, and you tried to shake him, but you couldn't. So you looked down at him, and you just thought, screw it. And you let go, and got sucked into the portal itself. It's been a long time since you were pulled into a portal, and it's never an easy experience. The feeling that you get, it's something that you can't really describe. You don't remain a person any longer. Like, everything about the world that you know doesn't exist. You almost compress down into you can't even describe how it feels, because it's not like your bones crack or your body crunches or anything like that. You just almost cease to exist, but you can still know, you can still think, you still feel as though you're there, though you can't experience anything around you. And just as you're pulled into this like warping wormhole tunnel, and everything stops, and that stop seems to last forever. It almost feels like hours pass while you're there, and you're trapped in your own head, and you're frightened. Then all of a sudden, that wormhole you find yourself in again. But it's very different this time. It doesn't have those greenish, purplish colors that I was describing beforehand. It's almost like the hole itself is comprised out of some hardened material. Almost like it's comprised out of, wood. Because what you actually find yourself doing is tumbling out of the side of a tree. Literally tumbling out of the side of a tree and smashing hard on the ground of like moss and a couple of rocks and whatnot and dirt that's down there. And then almost immediately afterwards, the clinking of metal and smashing and whatnot as he smashes onto the ground next to you. He also lets out like a good as he hits the ground. But you can see like that blow was enough to send his mind reeling back. I mean, he's suffered so much. Send his mind reeling. He's not really there at the moment. It's going to take him, I don't know, at least 10 seconds to kind of come to his senses. He's like, and like rolling to stand up. But you're like alert, in pain, but alert instantly. When you like open your eyes and look about to see like him on the ground, and you start, I imagine, to push yourself up. We'll get to that in a second. What you see all around you is an extremely dense forest. It's actually a forest that is so dense, the trees so wide at their base. Trunks of the trees so wide at their base, you can stretch your arms as far as they can, and it's not the diameter of these trees. They stretch very high up over your head, and the canopy is so thick it seems to block out light almost entirely. The area in here is very dim. Sure, a witcher would be able to see in here comfortably, especially with the cat potion, right? But you're actually having a hard time making out the details. The ambient light being dark because of the fact that the trees are blocking out any sunlight coming into it, but softened a bit by an almost ethereal glow that seems to persist here. You think there might be bugs that fly around here and there, giving off little bits of light, periodically giving off light, much like a glowworm or a what are they called? Firefly would do so. But also just the area itself almost seems to have its own glow to it in general, giving it a soft, cool kind of lighting. The air here is very, very thick. I mean, it's very rich. It tastes clean. It smells beautiful, but it's very thick. It's almost too thick. Like when you inhale, it's almost hard to breathe because of how heavy the air is as it goes into your lungs. You can feel it actually filling your lungs, and as you exhale, you can actually feel it pushing its way back out. It almost immediately takes effect, giving you like this slight dizzying feeling because of how thick that air is. The ground beneath you, as I described, it's dirt, certainly, random rocks here and there, but almost completely covered in moss on top of the dirt and the rocks, almost completely covered in moss. Where it was that you would land into the ground, kicked up this like plume of dust or some sort of particle all around you that it itself was also giving off a slight glow. The place is, if there was no other word if you could only choose one word, beautiful. There he is, groaning and rocking back and forth at his side next to you as you're taking all of this in. What does Bran do?
The first thing I do is probably get a good lungful of air and then look around and just go, oh, I can't see the bloody forest for all the trees here. I'm gonna walk over to the witch hunter. I'm gonna punch him in the face. I want to knock him out.
Sure. I mean, your character is very weak. You have an 8 strength. So it's one of those, like, you grab him, and, like, his helmet fell off during the fall and everything, because, you know, it wasn't like it was fastened before, right? So it fell off during the fall and whatnot. So you kind of, like, grab him by a tuft of hair. You hit him 3 times before you finally knock him out. So it's like, boof, boof, and knock him out. And finally he's now just lying there. What do you do?
I'm gonna look around confused for a minute. Brandon gets the feeling that this place might be nicer than the last time he went there, or through a portal. So he's gonna investigate the guy's body, see if he's got anything useful on him.
You guys, so you're the only one that didn't investigate before. So roll me an investigation check as you start searching through his body. So most other people going through a portal would be freaking out, like, what is this? Where am I? Oh my God, what's going? But not you. You're just kind of like, same shit, different day. You know, it's been a while.
It's nicer than the last time, so he's not immediately on guard.
Yeah, it's been a while, but you've done this before many times. So he's like back to business as usual, and you start searching over his body, and you know that they took the weapons, you know that they took the coin, but you actually find a thin bit of leather strap around his neck. You barely notice it, so you gotta kind of get your finger underneath it, and you pull it up, and you see there's a charm written into a type of stone that's around his neck. Now, you don't know what kind of stone that is, and the mark that's inscribed as like a rune onto the stone, you can't make out what that is either, because you're not schooled in such things, but you can feel the magic resonating off of it.
Okay, I pocket a random charm then.
As you grab the charm, actually grab it with your hands, you can see the rune itself starts to glow a little bit. It doesn't harm you, it doesn't do anything like that, but you can see as you grab the charm, it starts to glow.
Okay, if I then let it go and like hang on to it by the leather again, does it stop glowing again?
Correct.
Interesting. So I've got a little charm here that seems to react against magic, maybe? Because I am innately magical, so if I... interesting. I pocket the magical charm.
Mm-hmm. And so you pocket the thing, and then you kind of like look up and start to take in the sight around you. Roll me a perception check, please, sir.
Ooh.
So looking about for a bit, what you notice is you're not alone here. There is movement. As I had described beforehand, fireflies and stuff like that, other types of bugs. But then you also start to see, because things had settled down a bit, other movements down on the ground. Almost look like maybe like a bunny-like creature hopped for a second. You saw something else kind of flitter or move behind a tree off to the side. And you see other movement even further off, larger in size, but either timid or tame, because it's not getting any closer and is certainly not allowing itself to be seen easily. Distance, dimness, and cover are obscuring what it is from your sight.
Okay. I can't see the sky at all, right?
No, unfortunately you can't. You look up and not even like a beam of light. You know, sometimes when you're in a thick, I don't know if you've ever been in a thick forest before, but it's like a beautiful day and it's thick canopy. You can see like beams of light come through, and it's like really highlights the particles in the air. Not even that. The tree cover is so thick you don't see any of that.
Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna. Uh, I'm gonna walk in a direction for like 10 minutes and see if I can find any indication of flowing water.
So, you start going to walk. Roll me another perception check, please, sir. That's a bad one. So you start going to walk away, and as you walk away, unfortunately, you walk away from the tree, and so the rope that comes flopping out of the tree itself loses. You can't see it anymore. So you start walking off into just.
I completely forgotten about the rope, to be honest.
No, your character didn't know anyways. So you start walking off into a random direction, trying to find out what it is that might be here. Now it's fun because as you start walking away, you almost feel like a tug on your chest. You almost feel something like, as you're walking, you can feel this tug, like almost like a rope tied to you, is getting more and more and more taut. It's not physically slowing you down, but the further and further you get from where it was that you had landed, you can almost feel as though this thread or whatever it is getting very taut, almost to the point of breaking.
So it's like a magical essence trying to pull me back. Something that I've probably felt before then.
Yeah, it's almost feels like a tether to that area. Roll me an Arcana check. So you remember that not only so when you step through these portals before, not every time. Sometimes things go awry and you end up getting
Step is an interesting definition.
Sometimes you get just stuck there, and it takes you time to get back home. For one reason or another, it takes you time to get back home. But you do know that more often than not, if you're pulled into another realm, it's temporary. So long as you can feel a tether to your realm itself, eventually the magic will fade, and eventually you'll be pulled back to your own world. But you've done this before. If you snap that tether, then there's nothing to pull you back.
Yeah, as I sort of suspected. So this is my lifeline and my way back to the point of origin, basically. All right. I'm going to change my tactic then. Instead of walking in one direction, I'm going to try and like have a circle, like search pattern around the area, making sure that I never put too much tension on my magical tether.
Yeah, you're no dog on a leash. You know what I mean? It's not like one of those, oh, it gets wrapped around the tree. Oh, no. It's it seems to be a proximity thing. Maybe it's a standard distance. Honestly, you're not exactly measuring, right? So maybe it's a standard distance. Maybe there's some sort of not uniform shape. But you do exactly as you were describing, and just trying to take in the surroundings. One of the things that you do notice as you're walking throughout it is, actually roll me a investigation check, because that's what you're doing. So you're trying to make your way through and see if you can find anything of note, but unfortunately, nothing really jumps out at you. You can't find anything of interest there. Maybe because like the situation, maybe your emotions are still too high, despite how serene this place is, so on and so forth. You still notice the movements off to the side and everything, but nothing jumps out at you. Eventually, after like a minute or so, you start to feel that tether pulling. You're standing still, but you feel it pulling, and it's starting to pull pretty hard.
Okay, that's my clue. That I'm gonna try to find my way back to the tree that I fell out of. Shouldn't be too hard because I have a magical tether pulling me to it.
Yep, and you just kind of like move along with the tether. Do you like, much like playing Fortnite? Do you try to stick to the rim of the of the tether, or do you just like run in?
I'm sticking to the edge. I want to try and find as much of this place as I can before I leave.
You're now hurried. You can roll me another investigation with a disadvantage this time.
Why not? It's
Still technically better.
that's a funny bit, yeah.
Unfortunately, just with all the details involved, you're not able to have the mindfulness enough to like, gather anything of significance about. You eventually find your way back to the tree, right as the tether's starting to pull you really hard into this area. You step into an area of probably the proximity of safety, and you see he's on the ground, knocked out. He probably has his own tether as well, but you know that the space proximity to be pulled back in is pretty narrow, and there he is lying there unconscious. You're not pulled back through yet. What do you do? Just wait, or it's a very juicy peach. It's like messy. It's a very juicy peach.
Would I be able to roll an Arcana check to figure out like what would happen if a non-source would be left in a place like this? Like, I've probably had people pulled in with me before, and I've not always been able to save them.
How are they going to find their way home? Technically,
Yeah.
it's not murder. You can live here unless the food here is poisonous to you. You can breathe here, even if it's difficult and uncomfortable.
Do I see any fruits or anything of the kind? I probably wouldn't with my poor investigation, let's be honest.
No. And no herbs or plants or anything that stand out to you other than, well, that looks like moss. Okay, well, that looks like grass. You know, that looks like mushrooms. Okay, but nothing like stands out as, oh, this is particularly edible or this is particularly inedible.
I'm gonna drag him close enough to the tree.
You're going to allow him to come back with you? All right. So you grab him by the feet and you pull him just a little bit closer just to make sure. And like right as you getting him like 2 or 3 tugs closer, because again you're not very strong, you feel like that all of a sudden that much like pressing the button on one of those stringy tension dog leashes, you feel all of a sudden that big snap against your chest, and you get kind of like lifted up into the air. But it's not like you're actually physically lifted into the air. You feel yourself being lifted out of this world, out of this dimension. You actually once again feel yourself stepping back through that almost wormhole-esque thing that condenses you down into being nothing physically, but still their presence of mind. And then when you finally come back through to your world and you just kind of like spit back out, a bunch of the items that were sucked into the portal with you, though not everything, comes spilling out around you as all of a sudden you just kind of, from almost 3 or 4 feet up, go, oh, fuck, as you land onto the street side, the ground right there, the cobblestone, and it hurts as you go crashing down onto it. And look about and you see he is also smashes onto the ground. Whether or not he's alive, you don't know, but he's there with you, and a bunch of other stuff kind of like pours around you as well that was sucked in. Looking about, you can see the world is the same, except there is no Leonard or Tal standing there, because why would they be waiting for you? You're not sure how long you've been gone. It seems like quite a while you were inside that other world. Maybe an hour-ish or so you spent over there. But you do hear pale screams from down the alleyway.
All right, I'm gonna quickly look around to see if there's any like money lying around on the streets, and then I'm gonna, hey, you know, I gotta make sure that my full purse is not like leaking.
So he looks about at all the stuff that got sucked into the portal and got dumped around you. Nothing seems to be something of value. It's all stuff that was in the alleyway, anyways.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna
Luckily,
slowly head.
nobody else got pulled into the portal this time.
That's well, except for the guy.
Yeah.
That's somewhat like comforting to a very disturbed Bran right now.
Yeah. So and then you start doing what?
I'll slowly make my way to the screams, but I'll stay on like the fringes and stuff. I'm gonna roll a poor stealth check to try and like not get hit, not get seen on the way there, preferably.
I'm gonna give you advantage, unless you're like running.
Ooh.
I'll give you advantage.
No, I'm not running. I am too perturbed to run.
Yep, people are distracted.
Yay, that's a reasonable stealth check for once.
And you're making your way over towards them. Pulling the camera, and super fast swing of the camera across the city, watching the buildings as they whip by. We find it come to a slowing down and come to a stop next to Tal and Leonard, who literally just watched the leader Stefan jog off after saying his lines to you. Do the two of you join him, or what do you guys do?
I
I'm
think we should go
guessing-
get Bastion now, right?
Yeah, so we like let the witch hunters take the lead and
Mhm.
then trot along behind them. And then I guess when it's appropriate, we'll slip off into a side alley when we're close to Bastion.
Okay, definitely an option because Bastion once again is in the direction of where it is you're heading, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But he was kind of expecting you guys to run with him. So if you don't immediately join with him, he'll like stop and look back and be like, "Let's go."
Tal will be like, I gotta catch my breath.
Yeah. You need a sit up. Let's go.
Actually, I think our friend is around here. We had another Witcher with us. I think he's in this building. If you want, we'll get him really quick and catch up with you.
You can roll a deception check on your own on this one.
Awesome. Can't wait.
It's another nat 20.
Nope.
It's not a nat 20. It's not a nat 20.
Am I
He-
lying though?
I mean, it wasn't necessarily this building because it was that way, but that's fine. So he says to you, he's a witcher. I'm sure he'll be able to hear what's going on.
You'd be surprised.
Got the witch.
And he starts kind of like jogging in that direction again. Do you guys follow with him this time, or?
I guess.
I mean, he really only wants me, right?
Well, he wants to talk to you during the jog, obviously. Tal is fine. Tal's a good meaty man.
Okay. I was gonna say Tal could go.
So
When we get a bit closer, I can try.
So
Okay.
while you guys are jogging towards him, jogging towards the creature alongside him, he'll look over to you and say, how often you come across a creature you've never fought before or know nothing about?
Not too often. I don't know much about the monsters of this land, like the dragons, as much. I've definitely studied them, but it's a lot easier to know a monster when you fought it a lot before. Dragons and demons are not something I fought much before. Assuming it's a demon.
Well, it's exhilarating. Fighting something you don't know anything about, learning to overcome it,
Stupid.
to outwit it when you know
I
nothing.
usually find it pretty terrifying.
Dying on the end of its tentacle, very exhilarating.
You learn to rely on your instincts. You learn to hone them, because sometimes you don't get to have a book in front of you. And he, continues rushing forward with you guys, doing that soldier jog in his armor. And he says,
Here's my book.
"You
Don't read.
looking for work, Witcher?"
Sure. I'm willing to listen to a job offer.
It'll pay you well.
Most of them do.
It'll set you up for life.
I've heard that one before, and tragically, it didn't work out.
He looks at you full on and says, "I'm not a man to stab another in the back."
That's good.
Me neither. Weak
Glad to hear.
smile.
You eventually come up across to the area where you think that Bastion might be.
Are you gonna slip off?
Yeah, Tal will just divert quietly.
So you want to slip away, not lie to get both of you guys out of there.
Yeah. It'll just slip
Actually,
away
more
to
of a
grab-
persuade, but okay. So roll me a stealth then. You guys with these rolls today. Are you happy with that? I think your Witcher sense is at 6.
Yeah, I changed it to 6. I don't get the new one.
You can also roll an 11 and still fail horribly.
I mean, he's distracted.
Just risk it. I
It's
mean,
up to-
what's the worst thing that happens?
It's up to you if you think he has any, for his passive perception, if you think he has any modifier whatsoever added to it. You can imagine maybe he has a -5 because he's distracted. Maybe he doesn't.
Maybe just wait.
Maybe he has a passive +10 because he's a witch hunter and wants to burn you on a stake.
I guess
Maybe
it's
he's
already
very
too-
perceptive.
No, I'll leave it. I'll try that.
Okay. So you try to slip away. And so you slip away. And then after you slip away, he says to Leonard, he's a coward, isn't he?
You know how those dragon hunters are. If it's not a dragon, they, shit their bed.
Says, that's all right. I know a man who's willing to slide a blade between my... He's willing to slide a knife between my blades when I see one. And we'll kind of like come to a stop and look around the corner. And that's where you actually see the creature is standing there. And there's a couple of other witch hunters that are set up nearby. And a couple of the city guard and the Nilfgaardian guards and whatnot that are nearby. And they're got crossbows out. They're firing at it. This one guy literally runs up to it and takes a swing at the thing's knee because again it's 15 feet tall, so its knee's like 5 feet up, so or a little bit lower than 5 feet up.
Yeah, a little bit lower, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe like 4-ish. So swings at the knee with a weapon, trying to hit the knee, but it just like hits it almost like it would hit a wall, and the creature looks down at him and just like you can see his foot lift backwards, the opposite foot. And he just gives him a sharp kick, and the guy's like, "Ah!" As you imagine, many of his bones are broken in the impact, and then the toss in the air with a secondary impact, and he's not moving after that. One of the witch hunters up above, must be a crazy fucker because he's actually standing on a roof nearby. He comes running out, and he jumps off the roof, and he's got a dagger in his hands. And he tries to slam into the creature's back and sink the dagger in and use that to like hold himself pinned to the creature. But unfortunately, the dagger, like, either he doesn't get the point down or the skin's too tough or whatever. But the dagger does not stick into his back, and so he just ends up sliding down the creature and like falling onto the ground behind him. And then the creature, like trying to look to see what it was, ends up backing up a couple steps, but stepping on him by accident. And like you can see him crunch. A couple of the other guards once again firing shots, and you can see them pinging off of his face and neck, but don't seem to be harming him. Occasionally one will like stick in and like, "Grr," but nothing's really harming the creature.
Awesome.
Yep.
Um,
And I will name this creature Steve. The
what
silencer.
does Steve look like?
No, Steve.
What's his? Okay, let me change that. What if does he give off any kind of like visible magic that I can see?
So you like grab. So your talisman's obviously vibrating, right? Even though he's more than 30 feet away, he's giving off enough of an aura that you can feel it vibrating. So you kind of like grab the thing, and you can use detect magic, can't you? Is that an ability you have?
That's a good
Or is it
question.
just the talisman that does that?
Where would I know? I don't have like a
Character
detect magic
Okay.
ability. That it seems.
Not one of those isn't on your character sheet? Okay.
No.
So then no, it's just a medallion which does presence of monsters and presence of magic, though you can't identify the type. Okay. So you just detect the presence of this creature. You can't anything beyond that. You just tell that there's some otherworldly creature in front of you. Beyond your
Okay.
eyes, you can feel it.
Just giving off a little bit of magic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Awesome. I don't even know where to. Okay. Oh, you know what I can do?
Shit
Did
yourself
I?
in the
Well, yes. I got those. I got those oils, right?
You did?
I did not add them to my sheet. I don't know why. Where's the... I got it here. Hold on. Let me look at what I got. I just want to... You know what? I guess I don't really need to know what they are if I'm going to do this. All right, I'm just going to be... I'm just going to turn to Stefan. I'm going to say, hey, looking at this creature... oh, is he busy?
No. I was gonna say he's kind of staring at the creature with a bit of awe, but you can also see like a glee and a hunger in his eye as he's staring at it. Go ahead, looking at this creature.
See my medallion? Now hold it out and then hopefully show him that it's lighting up like a Christmas tree.
He nods.
And okay. This creature's giving off a lot of magic. I think I've read something of a creature of this type before. There's a certain oil I can make that should help us be able to damage it. I need to find some things. You guys think you can hold it off for like an hour or so for me to brew it?
He looks at you, looks back at the creature, and says, "An hour?"
I need to find all the parts. I don't even know where I would find some of these things.
He's assessing the situation. Roll a persuasion. But honestly, it's a rather convincing tale. I'll give you advantage on it. Are you happy with
God
your 11?
Damn it. I'm going to use a Witcher sense.
You're ruining everything.
I'm sorry. We weren't using one all day.
Oh.
So he says...
There we go. I've removed one from the thing.
Yeah, we can do that. We can hold it off. But I'll need your help with something first.
Anything you need, man.
He points past the creature to there's people on the other side. They're like trapped in a building nearby. There's clearly like a good number of people. He's like, they need to get out before we can truly distract this thing. Before I can let you get out of here. Help us distract it enough to get them out, and I'll let you go brew your potion.
You got it, Stefan. I'm gonna distract this creature.
So
So hard.
The creature itself is like, I don't know, 80 feet, 85 feet from you, and it's fighting all these people. What do?
I'm just gonna. How close can I get? Reasonably.
I mean,
Like, are you gonna make me roll initiative?
not quite just yet. Not quite just
Okay.
yet. So
Alright.
you can move in one round, 60 feet, so you can get up to 15 feet away.
What is the distance of my Yurden?
It's actually not tiny. Range.
10-foot diameter. I see that.
Oh, it's
It's
a
around
circle.
you. Okay, so it's on. I'm in the middle of it always. It looks like.
Oh yeah. You have to summon it around you, and then you back the F off. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna run up to 15 feet away from it. Try to cast a Yurden.
Oh, why did I change the music? Ollie would be mad at me.
Well, don't tell Ollie.
Ollie's
All
not
he
a
doesn't
person.
need to know.
He's not a person, anyways.
Bye, Steve. Oh, you already left.
So you gotta move up. So do you want to like? Because if you move up, say 50 feet or so, there's definitely a spot where you have full cover. Maybe it won't even notice you. So you want to move up, say 50 feet, and then like wait a couple moments, and then rush up even closer and drop your Yurden. Drop your Yurden.
Sounds good, man.
Okay. So you rush up and take cover for a couple moments, and then you look out, look back, and then why don't you roll me either an athletics to like quickly sprint or a stealth to sneakily get up to a spot closer to this creature.
I'll roll a stealth because I can do that.
Okay.
It seems really smart given that this is a big creature.
Dude,
I can't stop
I'm
yawning
like-
today. So tired.
I'm rolling less than 10.
Me neither.
So are you happy with your stealth?
Yeah.
So you go rush up by the creature,
I'm
which is
gonna
relatively distracted because it's being attacked by a whole bunch of different people,
Mm-hmm.
and you're now standing about 15 feet away from it.
Awesome. Yurden.
Just
I'm
kind
gonna
of like,
cast Yurden.
do your signs thing, and it's like appears
here.
around you. But as soon as you you do that appearing around you thing, what do you choose? Radiant or ward or magic ward?
I kind of feel like Magic Ward would be the better one to go on this one.
Monsters normally resistant to non-magic weapons can be affected normally within the area of the ward, and they treat the area within the ward as difficult terrain. Okay, so you rush up, you drop that. The creature then feels or sees or whatever it is, the magic, and then turns to look at you and sees you there standing in the middle of the ward. And then you're different from all the other ones around. You just did this magical thing near it. So for some reason or another,
Over here, you big bastard!
it comprehends that you're a bit of a danger. And so it takes a step forward, not enough to actually put it inside the ward itself, and
Okay.
it punches down towards you because it's got reach. It punches
Rip.
down towards you with this big old fist.
It's gonna reach to his fucking 15 feet.
Yeah.
Do you have a backup character?
Stretchy wins. No, I'll take the hit. I'll be alright.
Yeah, it's only gonna be one attack. Oh, 1 second. Because I'm a big old dummy. But you already knew that, didn't you? Didn't you?
Yep.
Didn't you?
Yes.
That is. Okay, so my attack rolls a 27, so I easily hit. And so he punches down at you, and he does connect. It's one of those things where you just finished doing your Uridan. You say those words, it comes over and punches at you, and you immediately think, this was a terrible idea. And you try to dodge out of the way, and you do enough that you don't take the full blow of the attack, because that could have been devastating. It could have been lethal. But you take 15 points of damage from this creature punching at you once, and as his fist hits the ground right where the Uridan hit, you can just see just like boom, the ground itself like lifts up around its hand a bit. Roll me a perception check really quickly, sir.
Okay. Thanks for throwing me a bone here with this perception check.
You want to use a witcher sense?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So you punch down and he hits the ground and you take that 15 points of damage and you're like, yep, and that's why I'm leaving this fight. Do you what do you do for you turn to run? Or do you want to attack it first?
Dude, I got no fucking idea. What do Witchers do? What do Witchers do? What would a Witcher do if he were about to die? In a single attack.
Shit his pearly panties?
You were at full health prior to this, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you a couple days passed traveling back down the mountain.
Mm-hmm. But you told me that that was a glancing blow.
Mm-hmm.
You took off some damage there, and that was half my health in one hit. So yeah, one more hit and I'm fucked.
They're not going to be able to hold him for an hour. The town's just going to be flat when I get back. It's like,
Well, he's in the magical ward now, so he takes damage.
So
I mean, we've got like
Yeah, good luck with that.
with crossbows.
only his fist is in the ward at the moment, so it's one of those things you can test and make sure your magic works first, and so you can attack the creature, or you
Can attack his fist.
Yeah, or you can disengage and run away.
Yeah, I'm gonna run like a little pussy. I'm gonna disengage and fucking run.
Okay.
I want to run straight back to Stefan.
Sure.
Stefan, help! Ah!
So more or less, the fist hits the ground. You see an opportunity, but you don't take it. You're like, so you see an opportunity, but instead of taking it to stab the hand that's otherwise presented before you, you take that opportunity to get the fuck out of dodge. And so you turn and you run, like you said, back to Stefan before the hand can pull up or the thing can recoil. As you go running, you can see the creature. Its attention is somewhat on you, but it's not completely on you. It might not even walk another step closer towards the field that you threw down. At least not without a little more prodding.
Are other people currently throwing weapons or whatever at it?
They are.
Do I notice any change in damage?
It pulls its fist back out of the portal, so no, out of the spell. It needs to be standing in there.
Gotcha.
So it has to move over about 10 feet to get to it.
Okay.
And nobody's exactly pushing it.
Right. Yeah, so I'll run back over to Stefan and be like, Stefan, is my portal still up or did he punch it away?
It's still there.
Okay. Stefan, do you think you guys can... Sorry, that was just one hell of a hit. Do you think you can get your guys back in to loop them into that portal there that I put? Or my
Rope!
side?
Rope! Let's take them down! Let's get some... Yep, up there, up! Rope! Rocks. We need rocks, he says, turning to you.
Rocks?
Boulders, chunks of metal, anything heavy. Let's go, Witcher. Start moving. And he goes and he starts calling out to everybody, rope, rope. And you can actually see, like, they're grabbing out of their packs. They have, like, these bits of rope that they pull out of their packs that already have, like, rock and everything. Almost like, what do they call it? Bolos?
Oh, yeah.
Bolas.
Bolos, thank you.
Yeah.
Almost like bolos attached to the end of a...
Answer the name. Bola.
Bolas. I'm thinking BOLO for some reason. So YOLOs. So bolas. And at one point I said balo. Anyways, so they throw these things. They start throwing it at this creature instead of attacking him to like grab it to wrap around the arm. And he sees the thing and he grabs it and he pulls. And that guy's like ah! But they like let go in time, just fall down. But enough of them start doing it all around his body that they are able to kind of grab on and whatnot. What does Leonard do to try to lend some sort of assistance?
I'm gonna run up. I'm gonna try to. Is there like anything heavy near me, like a tree that's like kind of rotting, or like a big boulder or anything?
Actually, there's a cart that it looks like somebody was literally pushing a cart down the street full of a ton of goods. The horse is still attached to it and freaking out, but the horse is the cart is so heavy, and so the cart adds like the wheels of the cart have like a lock you can put on them, so it doesn't like roll down a fucking hill while you're traveling. So the lock to the wheel happened to be engaged, and the horse is stuck to the cart, and so it can't get away.
All right, I'm gonna run over to that cart, and cut the horse free. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna. Thank you.
Runs off.
And then I'm gonna kick up the locks. And man, am I gonna try my hardest at pushing this cart towards wherever Stefan told me to push it.
So you start making it over towards where it is that the creature is, and a couple of the others with the ropes kind of dangling off of it. They're all starting to grab and pull towards the direction that you are. The others that are on the
Are we lining up this cart behind its legs like the old kneel down behind someone trick so that it gets...
It sounds like it, yeah.
Is that what Leonard's plan is with it?
I don't know. It's not my plan. It's Stefan's plan.
Well, you're the one pushing the cart. Stefan doesn't give you anything.
I'm pushing it towards the guys reaching for me. I'm just going to the shortest route. I don't think I can... I barely think I can push this cart.
Sure. So others are going to join in with you. So there, as the ropes are dangling and they're starting to kind of like come over towards the direction you're heading from.
In that case,
others
I'm
going to
go
try
over
and start like shouldering even 2 or 3 non-combative people, like peasants that have just got a nice iron pair dangling. They come over and start trying to shoulder it as well. As a matter of fact, your friend Larrabee comes over and he's like, hey, let's get this guy. And he starts like shouldering the thing and it starts actually moving.
Yes. All right. So when I see Larrabee come over, I'm gonna be like, yeah, we can push this fucking cart, and I'm gonna try to set it up, to use it as like an anchor, I guess, for the bolas to trip it backwards into my sign.
Sure. So you want to do like more or less slam into his ankle sort of a thing.
Yes.
As you guys, because like you said, the knees over the back. So as you guys are pushing forward, everybody sees what you're doing. Stefan sees what you're doing, and you guys are picking up speed. So he starts calling out.
I really hope it works.
He starts calling, "Ready for impact!" And so kind of like others, once again, noticing 2 more people come over. So you have the total of what is it? 5 of you, no, 6 of you are now pushing this cart as fast as you can, as hard as you can towards this creature. And you're actually gaining momentum. You're at like a pretty fast jog, not quite a run, towards the creature running over at it. At the same time, others are pelting it, trying to keep its attention the other way. And so as you guys impact the cart against its legs, everybody else is either pulling their ropes, or 2 people actually jump off their buildings. They're like holding on to the ropes for dear life, hoping that that's enough to give a bit of a jerk.
Hell yeah, which is awesome.
and starts falling backwards and stumbles over the cart and actually does fall into the area behind. And
So when this happens,
however, Make
Hold
me a
on.
dexterity save.
Shit. I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
Oh.
So while this is happening, like when I see all the people doing all this shit, in my mind I'm like, damn, I'm so happy I switched teams. All right. What was that? Dex save?
Yep. Okay, so you actually are perfectly safe because when you see him coming down, you're not stupid. You just literally slide under the cart. You know what I mean? Because he's not gonna fall onto it. So you slide under the cart. So even as his legs kind of like flail around and smash into stuff nearby, it actually kicks one of the people that was actually he kicks Larrabee, and he kicks Larrabee with so much force he crunches him against the side of the cart where the horse would have been tethered to, and you hear a loud sickening several snaps. And he drops to the ground like a sack of potatoes and doesn't seem to be moving.
Oh
But
no.
you're under the cart though, and you see like his eyes maybe lifeless looking at you. But he's
no,
got
the
like a
alpha
little
energy's
smile on his face.
Died as he lived.
But you're
He did.
but you're
Beefy.
safe. You're safe hiding under the cart as that happens, and then they all start pouring on this creature. They start coming down and start trying to attack him with weapons, pulling the ropes, trying to. Now, obviously, this is very much a Gulliver's Travels moment where
Right,
he's
yeah.
trying to pull back and everything. Does Leonard stay in the fray, or does he turn and run away?
Surely me and Bastian are somewhere on the way now.
It's a good question. Can you find Bastion? We'll get to that in a moment.
Oh, shit, that's a good part.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try to make an oil.
So you are
Right.
going to back off to go make your oil?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to do exactly like you just said. You're going to back off. You're going to like look over to Stefan. Stefan gives you like an appreciative nod, which you can imagine is also like a, you know, like you're relieved. Here we go.
Mhm.
And so you start backing away from the fight as you see them going at and trying to fight this creature and so on and so forth. And this the Nilfgaardian guards, everybody's trying to come at this thing as they're trying to, you know, pelting down at it with arrows. But the arrows are sticking into its body, are actually harming it. The swords are actually cutting the thing. You can actually hear it makes like a kind of noises as it takes some hefty blows.
Nice.
Well, one of the guards that once again happens to be on a roof nearby. Excuse me. One of the guards that happens to be on a roof nearby was having things hold up towards it. He starts just like grabbing stuff and tossing it off of relatively high weight to have it drop down on the creature from above. And they're all trying to get the creature. You look at it and you're like, it looks like they might have the fight in their hands, maybe. And so you retreat back to go make your oil. Talabast is going. We're going to pull the camera over to Tal. Tal, you're looking for Bastion, and so you're like running over towards the building where you were told that the artist is, and so you go rushing up to the door. The door's locked.
Oh well, good try.
Really? Does it have windows? Like open windows, right?
Yeah, there's windows.
It's probably not glass, so I'm gonna peek in through a window.
So why would it? Oh yeah, glass isn't very common in the Witcher setting. That makes sense because it's more medieval than Renaissance. So so you make your way over to like a window and you start peeking in, and you hear a noise happening inside there. Like you hear noises inside there, but you're not sure what it is.
Fuck
Can
it,
I-
don't go in.
I listen a bit harder, see whether I can pick up Bastian's voice.
Perception check.
You hear groaning and moaning. You don't know who's on top and who's on bottom, but
But you know you want to be in there.
You can't make out what that noise is.
Uh,
A walk in on his little bang session, I guess.
yeah, I guess I'm gonna bang on the door.
It's
Like, thud, 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 thud. Bastian!
No response for the first bang. I imagine you knock again. So it's like
He's gonna keep
louder,
banging.
like poof, poof, poof. Bastion, and so eventually, like you hear the noise stops, and someone comes over and goes, "What you on about out there?"
I'm looking for a Witcher. Supposed to be having his painting done. Here?
He's still there.
We're working on it.
Yeah, no, we need him now.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to get in line then.
What the fuck is
There's,
You get in line?
There's a monster.
A what?
A big monster, 15 foot high, 2 sets of horns.
Unlocks the door, opens it up, and you see that there's a woman standing before you. Honestly, she looks like she's probably in her early 40s, late 30s, but has held it together very well. Again, medieval ages, people fall apart at young ages. So has held it together very well. She has literally a sheet pulled tight around her, and she's holding it bustled in one hand behind her. And she looks at you, and she like looks past you and sees there's a bit of chaos going on in the streets. And she's like, huh. And looks back at you, and then you realize the situation, goes, it's a part of the creative process.
Let the creative juices flow.
Whoa. Look, tell him to get his clothes on and head towards the screaming. Probably his armor too, because and his shield.
No, come in, she says, as she waves you in.
No. I left my friends. He could already be dead. I probably need to go and make sure he's all right.
She's like, she like looks. She almost does like a slide look to the side, and she's like, "All right, he'll join you in a bit."
Just gotta finish the screaming over here.
If I die because Bastian doesn't come over, I will come back and haunt you. All right? And if I don't die and Bastian doesn't come over, I will come over here and I will kill you.
She leans in a bit and she's like, he's a bit of a dull boy. Maybe he won't find his way because, he can't find his way.
He can find his way around other places, though.
Tal pulls out a crossbow bolt and puts it in his crossbow.
You're threatening an innocent.
Pulls it back.
And here I am the evil. No, I'm the evil. Yeah, totally.
I'm gonna go fight this monster now. And I just want you to have a good look at this crossbow, okay?
This is the last bolt you'll see.
And
it's a Dragon Slayer one. It's got a mean spiral bolt on the end.
Yep, no, it's just very wicked looking. And she looks down at it, and she looks up at you, and you can see she loses her bluster. She doesn't quite show fear or anything like that, but she loses her bluster, and she's like, Bastion! And he's like, yeah, what? And she's like, you're gonna have to get your pants on.
You gotta do a better voice than that.
I'm not done yet, though. And she's like, yeah, they need you out there. There's a monster. But I like looking at the painting. And she looks back at you and she gives you this sheepish nod. And she's like, despite that, love. And he's like, oh, right. And he's like, you can hear him grumbling as he's going to get his pants, and you can hear the clinking of metal as he grabs his swords and stuff. And as he walks by the room, you see his bare ass as he walks by the room holding bits of clothing as he's trying to find other bits of clothing and whatnot. So those bend down grabs. You're like, okay, leaving the room now.
I guess Tal had given 5 minutes waiting outside.
As he starts getting his stuff.
And then he would start heading towards all the action.
And oh no, you're heading away from it. And then we pull the camera over to Bran. Bran, you start making your way through the streets, and you're actually following behind a bit of chaos. As a matter of fact, you see the creature as it makes its way through the streets, and you can see the creature is a bit, because this is your first time seeing the creature. So actually, as described beforehand, what's your initial thoughts or facial reaction as you see this creature here?
It went from oh, I haven't seen that before. And then he remembers oh, so that's oh. And he stops walking. He starts running
Towards it?
Yep.
As you're making your
It's
way
the stupidest idea possible, but it's the only thing on his mind right now.
as you're making your way towards it, it comes across its first person, and it literally like picks up. It's a guy that's sitting in the streets. He literally picks up the guy and he looks at him, and he's looking at the person like curiously, like, huh, what is this? The guy's like, ah, ah, ah! It's like flailing arms and stuff like that, and so like grabs one of the arms and he like takes it to look at it, and it like snaps several times, then rips off, and he looks at the thing like, huh. And so he grabs the legs and rips those off too. And it's like blood splatters everywhere. Intestines are trailing down from its hand and whatnot. And it's like looking at it like curiously, like trying to figure it out. Ends up grabbing the thing's head and popping it. And he's like, huh. And then he looks over at the at one of the others that are running by. And he just like bends down low and like high five, like slaps the thing on the ground, and realizes as he picks his hand up and like the carnage that's there, how easily it crunches under its hands. And then you can see, like, as it realizes this, a smile comes across its face as it realizes just how puny these creatures around here are. And this is when it starts to go on a little bit of a rampage. But, Brad, you see that smack, you see that, like, smile. Do you react now, or do you wait?
So this creature's going around hurting innocent people. And it's kind of my fault, isn't it?
Where is it?
Some might blame something named Steve, but that doesn't matter. It's definitely your fault.
It's your fault.
Who told you that?
So
Was it Steve, perchance? Steve.
Bran doesn't react well to guilt either.
Yeah.
He
So
doesn't.
so you're standing there and starting to feel guilty as you're seeing all this carnage and whatnot happen.
Yeah.
God,
Oh
Brad.
no! Roll me a d10. Oh, wait, do you try to resist it? You feel it coming on. You feel the source coming on and everything.
I mean, I don't think it would immediately like go into overflow, but it's definitely like he knows, and it's
He grabs.
he's gonna
He grabs somebody else and picks them up and like crushes them in their hand.
he's
your
gonna
fault,
start
Brian.
throwing a firebolt at it.
Sure. So you whirl together the firebolt and you take it back and you hurl it at the creature, but for some reason the firebolt as it leaves your hand just wasn't that strong. It just, as it leaves your hand, it didn't have much oomph behind it, and so it almost seems to like lose its energy as it travels across the sky, and it's not much more than a flame you'd see from a couple of lighters put together, you know, turned up, that like hits the creature against its side. It doesn't even notice.
Can I cast detect magic to see if it's the creature?
Sure. So you try to take a step back. You try to cast detect magic, but doing so is actually very difficult. Roll me a wisdom save. Unfortunately, just your sheer willpower, your ability to try to like pull your minds through whatever it is that's like suppressing your magics, make it so that your casting of detect magic just doesn't really work for some reason. You try, but it just you can't make it work.
Can I pull out the charm that I have?
Yeah.
Can I try casting a firebolt at the creature with the charm in my hand? I'm holding it by the leather specifically.
Sure. So you're holding it by the leather, and you try to cast Firebolt at the creature with the charm. As you start to cast Firebolt, the charm starts to glow very bright for a moment, and you can feel the fireball being very, very weak.
I try to chuck the charm in a place that's easily memorable, like next to a bucket or something.
A bucket.
Yep. So you,
Yes,
One of those in town.
So
the
you,
bucket on Shitty Avenue.
you toss the charm to the side, as you to the side into a bucket nearby. Like you quickly look to see like a sign. You think you remember what it is. Toss the charm to the side. What do you do?
I want to try firebolt again, see if that fixes the problem.
Huge flame appears in your hand. You hurl it back, and you're easily able to throw the firebolt over at the creature. Roll your attack roll, sir.
He makes a mental note of that. For fuck's
Unfortunately,
sake.
it wasn't a very powerful hit. It comes up and ends up bouncing off the creature's shoulder and rolling past it, which gets its attention. And then as it turns back to see where the firebolt was, and it sees you standing there, it starts making its way towards you. Like, thump, thump, thump steps towards you.
I'm gonna make Billy big steps in the other direction while continuing to cast fire bolts at it.
You throw a couple of fire bolts at it, but as it's making its way towards you, knowing that it was going the other way, others had start to come out and try to run to safety, and 3 kids start running across the street, and then because it's running towards you, one of its feet ends up crushing 2 of the kids right in front of the third one, and the oldest of the 3 kids stands there and sees that happen, and just starts
You're
like
getting triggered, damn it.
freaking out.
Yeah.
And at that, you start getting triggered. But unfortunately, you can't exactly spend your turn right now standing and meditating, trying to. You have to keep running. So, you're going to have to roll me that d10, sir.
I'm gonna fight fire with fire.
All right.
It's a 7.
Let's see what this is. Sorry, I love trump cards. They make me happy. All right, give me 1 second.
It was perfect.
Oh, my God.
Oh
no, boys, please.
I mean, it's not quite as bad as opening another dimension portal, but
Every single time you use magic, you fucking kill us.
So,
This episode, anyway.
To be fair, we did drop him in it pretty hard with those witch hunts.
you create. What level are you for?
yeah.
A 200-foot area.
Oh
And
my god.
It's full of radiation.
roll
Straight
a d10 again.
Oh my god.
up. Oh no.
200 foot area of
10.
hellfire.
That might actually be the better result.
Your space-time expands, doubling the distance, and all creatures. So more or less, like everything in a 200-foot area around you, the space and like the time and everything in it expands so much that if somebody's 5 feet from you, they're effectively 10 feet from you.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? If somebody's 100 feet from you, they're effectively 200 feet from you. And
Everyone
so
instantly just.
when this happens, the creature is moving so slowly, like poof, like he's moving normally into everybody's eyes, but it takes him so hard because his big steps aren't able to travel as far as they were beforehand, seeming to move slow but fast, seeming to travel far but not all at the same time. That actually, as this like happens, you can actually see that somebody else who was like, oh, stop to regard the children being squished, but then all of a sudden looks up and sees a footstep. This step may have clipped him, may have hurt him, but for some reason just barely falls short of where they are. And their second foot falls way further than where they are. And just like this distortion of space ends up making almost like a safe zone, where people are that were to the side and relatively safe before. If like a swinging arm would have hit the side of a building prior, that building is now much too far for his arm to be able to reach. And
Does it also double his arm length?
No. It's distances, but not necessarily your body size. Right?
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those things where you end up making almost like a safe zone because of what just happened. And so he's coming towards you as quickly as you can, and it starts like a little bit of a game of cat and mouse between the two of you, where he's like reaching around and trying to grab you and whatnot. But your character, would you, realizing what's happening, would you try to fight him because now it's mano a mano, or would you try to hide?
I've probably had this happen before as well, right? This like space-time contortion thing.
I would say this one has never happened before. This is a different
Okay.
one.
Is it visible? Like, can I see the field, or?
No. You can feel it, but you don't know its full extent.
Okay. I'm probably gonna. So if I were to walk, it takes twice as much effort to do the same thing, right?
Correct. But you could probably
Does
hold
Misty
pace
Step
against
count for that as well?
Misty Step breaks rules of that, I guess. No, because it's space-time. I would say...
But it's a teleport.
I would say that one, because it's your Misty Step, breaks the treats the world as normal. So even if it was the other way, it would treat it normal. So 50% of the time it
Nice.
benefits you, 50% doesn't.
I'm gonna Misty Step away from it 30 feet. Away from people, if possible.
Yeah, you just throw yourself backwards entirely.
What I want to try and do is I want to use this like slowing effect that I've noticed upon myself and the surrounding to try and lure the monster with me and sort of keep it trapped in there for as long as I can. And so I want to try and keep throwing firebolts at it while continuously backing off.
So when you stepped backwards, the way that you did, because he was already a bit of a distance from you, and you throw the firebolt kind of like as you're stepping into your misty step, you hurl a firebolt and kind of step into it. You're actually 30 feet counts as 60 feet. Plus, he was already about, say, 40-ish feet away, which counts as 80. 60 and 80, 140 feet away. That's actually outside of your firebolt range now. But anyways, he kind of stops as you hurl your firebolt, and you can make your attack roll with it, actually.
Ooh.
And you deal your damage.
Ooh.
Okay, so you actually hurt it a little bit, and then the creature takes the fireball as it comes at him, and it throws its arm up in time, and it like hits its forearm, and you can actually see like a burning, singeing happening on him. He notices that, notices how far you are from him, and then actually turns and starts moving the other direction. And it doesn't take long, but all of a sudden you see him come to almost like a barrier where he hits a wall, but then forces himself from the wall itself and is able to look back into the area where you and everybody else are kind of like expanded and stuck and weird, and you can almost see like a shimmering field, and then turns and starts walking down the street towards the area where he starts getting ambushed by all the witch hunters and everything else, because that portal that you had created beforehand only lasted 1 minute. Even though you're in that other world for about an hour, in this world, that portal only existed a minute. And because you went in round 3, you were only gone, what's that, 7 times 6 is, 42 seconds or whatever it is? You were actually gone a very short period of time and came up right behind that creature. And so now you're in your weird, slowed time thing going on, where you're off to the side going to get him.
Now, like the bit with Leonard and the cart and everything is happening.
Is actually happening, exactly. And so Leonard is off to the side and crafting his oil. Bran is kind of stuck in his area looking after it, like pissed that because he's moving slowly trying to get over there. But his bubble, it's not a point in space that started. It's actually a bubble that travels around you, which is important to note for the future. So you actually keep moving through your bubble slowly trying to get towards him. But that's actually really slowing down your fight trying to get back up to what's happening. And then you're off to the side trying to get Bastion. And I think with that, we're going to have to call this session a little early.
I agree. It's
Yeah.
the right time.
God damn it,
Yeah.
Steve.
That might be my favorite trump card so far.
That
Dude,
was good.
Every single
That
time.
was good, yeah.
Every single time we do something with the story, it gets fucked up. We gotta be like, all right, next episode.
No, because it's actually the story is like this creature. It alters the dynamic of the relationship you're about to form, right?
That's true, yeah. in a sense.
And
But every
theoretic-
single episode's kind of been like that.
Yeah.
And like,
So-
here's a monster. Now we're friends.
So this is the first experience that Messi and Neil has had with the trump card.
That's true.
How you
Same
like
here,
it?
actually.
Oh wait, that's right. Nobody did it for Mass Effect because they were afraid they would just kill everybody.
We were fragile in Mass Effect, yeah.
That's true. Southern is brutal.
but
It
they,
is.
they actually had damage resistance and shields in that game,
Still
as
brutal.
opposed to our stars that number. They're like, you get hit by a toothpick that happened to fall off the counter.
One
Oh no!
bullet.
Oh no! I
One
died.
bullet. One bullet.
Yep. So anyways, how'd you guys like your first trump card?
That was good.
I loved it.
Very-
Perfectly timed.
A lot of good narrative there.
It was, yeah.
I was kind of curious to see if somebody was going to be willing to throw out a triumph, because there are some people have like a good number of points stored up just from like watching but not spending them, right? Because if you just watch the stream, they build up, and so some people have like a good number built up. So I was kind of curious, like, oh, I wonder if somebody would counter the trump, or if they just want to sit back and watch it. So who knows? Maybe next session somebody will throw you a bone. But all right, let's wrap things up over here. We'll start with you, Messy Cat. Messy Twitch.
Hi. My name's Messi_Cat. I just got a new emote. I'm gonna spam it.
Spam
Who's we? I recently played video games on my channel, so if you like those, go check it out. I'm doing some new stuff coming soon, but I always say that and then it doesn't come to fruition, but this one probably will. Cool. So go check it out. Follow. Thanks. Neil.
Next is, sorry, my apologies. Next is going to be you, Derp. Who are you? How can we find you?
Hi, my name's Rick. You can find me on as Derp Digital in all the places. Currently doing stuff on YouTube. I am playing games again and uploading them. It is great. I'll probably stream again at some point, but I'm not gonna make any like set in stone promises for that. I'm still trying to slowly get back into it. And yeah, that's basically me. I play games.
I play games, he says. Okay, and
If you want to play
Neil.
a game.
Who are you, Neil?
I am Neil. You can find me on Twitter at Nagkite or on the Discord. False Pretenses Discord at the same handle. I play on 2 streams, this one and one in just over an hour, which is a Stars Without Number game. And it is brutal and people die. No spoilers. Yeah, so catch me there with Scott in an hour.
Perfect. Yeah, that's over on twitch.tv/Ollie Rant. I hate that sound. Ollie Rant sounds terrible. Ollie Rant sounds better.
Oh,
It's raunchy. Because
That
he's
is
raunchy.
wrong.
Ollie Rant. Raunchy. Scroll down. He's the green key with the weird star thing on it. And Messy, can you tell us how we can find Dunce?
No.
You can't tell us how to find
He's
Dunce?
been missing for quite some time. If any of you see him, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, well, his name is...
Yeah, twitch.tv/Dunspace.
And that's also like Twitter, Dunspace, and it's just Dunspace. Which is a name I'm kind of confused by. I never asked him the meaning behind it. I'll have to do that.
I asked.
Oh, really?
Well, I can't say I'm sworn to secrecy. Legit, I can't say.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
I'm Daelric. Go to Daelric.com. All the things are
Messy
there.
as my witness.
But if you don't want to go to Daelric.com and you just want to find out when my streams are, then scroll down and you'll see like a schedule there. And if you don't want to do that, then just come to twitch.tv/Lost Initiative Show at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, or twitch.tv/Ollie Rant, for 2 p.m. Eastern today to see a couple of other campaigns, because I do 4 games in 24 hours, woo, plus a few more. All right, I will catch you guys later. Bye-bye.
Oh, see ya, man.